Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video we're going to be finding out how can you quickly level up in your current career, because it doesn't matter if you're in your dream, position or exact thing you want to be doing. We all want to be in a better situation than we are currently, whether that be more money, maybe more flexibility, maybe more, you could say, power. Sometimes it's easier to be the leader or be in a position where you don't have a boss over you. You know what I mean? Whatever that may be, it's going to be showing up in the cards today, and we're going to be talking about how to specifically get to there. So we've got groups number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to give you a moment to pick the group that you resonate with most. Now that you've done so, you can just go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group with its marked timestamp. And let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's look at how you can quickly level up in your current career by looking at the cards. Wow, that is a mouthful to say. We've got the Hierophant upright, the Tower in reverse, the Chariot upright, the Fool card upright, and 4 of Swords in reverse. Let me just look at all these cards and see what's going on. Okay, this is super easy peasy and rather fun, which I'm excited for. The interesting thing here is it's specifically talking about the type of sort of like what your role specifically would be and where you would best fit both for personal enjoyment, but it is a hint and a positive omen of a higher position right around the corner, and that position being filled doesn't necessarily mean you would be like a manager or a boss. You could be if you wanted to, but when I go further into detail and explain what this role specifically is, you could be the type of person who's sort of left alone more and is seen with more respect and is given responsibility, but is kind of left alone and doesn't necessarily have to take on the intense responsibility of somebody who is managing everybody else. So you have that flexibility popping up in your near future if you want to full on be the boss of other people, or be that kind of person who, has their own space. Again, this could be anything from an office. You have your own office off to the side and people go to you to get information and then they leave, so you get left alone and you don't have to take the brunt of you put me here and I'm not happy. I don't like this task you gave me. You can basically skip around that sort of potential outburst of somebody else. Or this could be the same concept as, sometimes there's always somebody at your, and I'm referring to, I don't know what the term is, the job where people work in sales or stores and stuff like that. You're a barista, I usually often give an example, but they seem to always get these tasks where they can kind of take their time and put away, boxes, and they don't have to deal with the constant customer support or even interacting with the boss much, and nobody holds it against them. That sort of concept going on here. So the first clue we get, and we're going to get into specifics of how you get there, because it's sort of that vibe of as you start to take on that role, other people see that you're a natural good fit, and it's a certain attitude and an intention. So let's get into all of it. Here's our major clues over here in the Chariot and the Hierophant in upright. These both refer to you taking on sort of a teacher role to other people. You would be showing people, here, this is the best way you can accomplish this task. Did you know you can do this? Hey, let's show you this new skill and show you this. Again, I always use the barista as an example. Hey, I figured out this new drink. Do you want to see how I made it? Or do you want to figure out a faster and better method? Or maybe you see somebody working and you just try to help figure it out with them. You don't have to necessarily understand the task yourself, but often people, when they come they approach something that is unfamiliar to them, it's easy to give up and feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. And you can kind of be that sort of moral support, but also at the same time figuring it out yourself, and then in turn explaining it to them. Hey, I'm looking at this activity, this new task too. Let's figure it out together. And you sort of pull off to the side from whatever your regular activities are. I do see that nobody's really going to get mad at you, because even if they're like, hey, you're not at your station, you're not at your place, when they see that you helped somebody else accomplish whatever task they needed to accomplish, and you therefore made the entire position for everybody else run smoother, there is an awareness suddenly of, oh, there's somewhere else you could be. You're basically creating a position for yourself that the company in itself didn't know was needed, and you sort of become an honorary boss again, if you want, without having to deal with all the annoyance that the boss would have to take on. Because many managers and people who are higher up than us have to deal with a lot of, like, the type of annoying spreadsheet and buying and inventorying and the type of work a lot of people don't want to deal with. And you can basically avoid all that, but also simultaneously all avoid the grunt work of when people work the lower positions, and it's very exhausting and a lot of, I mean, honestly, usually those people are given the most amount of tiresome energy burning type of work. You can avoid that too. So both of these talk about that sort of, we'll just describe it as a teacher position, and helping others perform their tasks better through gained knowledge that you gain at the same time as them, or you just straight up can see how things function better. You have an outside perspective of being like, oh, I think this would be better if you approached it this way. Over here is the confirmation in the Tower card in reverse. You're not meant to be in, and you won't see any sort of thriving anytime soon if you are in a situation where it involves a lot of erratic decision making quickly, and sort of being on your tiptoes and dealing with the mad rush of a lunch hour or whatever that may be. It's like, it's not that you will necessarily fail at the task, it's just it will sort of be what I like to describe as middle world work, which just basically means, this is a term that I use also for when you get constantly caught up in other people's drama. There's never any sort of improvement when it comes to whether it be this sort of work for you or that type of attitude when I described like getting involved with like gossip or drama. When you keep being baited into something, you have to kind of manage that situation in the moment, and then the next thing pops up and you engage with it again, and you're essentially in turn never improving or find yourself having the energy or ability to get out of this rut or situation. So if you feel this is popping up, honestly, you're gonna want to kind of let it sort of be the type of thing where like you just pass it to other people, or even if people come to you initially frustrated that they're like, why didn't you, I said go do this, I needed the help, and you kind of be like, well, I was helping someone else. And if there is frustration that you get on someone else's end, do not take it personally. It is they should be able to handle it themselves. It's not your full responsibility to deal with their also personal worries that they would have felt with or without your help. And to be honest with you, think of this as the universe giving you an example of something that's baiting you. Again, that middle world type of thinking, and you can choose to interact with it or not, essentially. But just be aware that in some cases, for some of you, when this pops up, just take a deep breath, be like, hey, I was helping someone else, I don't know what to tell you. Let them get a little frustrated and let it blow over, and see that you are actually moving closer to where you would be happiest, thrive more, and again, put yourself in a position where you're given more money, more flexibility, and so on and so forth. So let's get into specifics of how you can get there. So the first thing you actually want to do in the Four of Swords in reverse is you desperately need a break. It seems like with that card popping up and the Tower card in reverse, there's just a lot of like, you've been caught in this middle world sort of constantly maintaining the intense, drama or whatever's needed of you in that moment, at your current career, at this very moment. and you kind of need a break. This would be a good time to take a day off. It could just be the act of really consciously saying, okay, when I get home from work, I'm sleeping way more this week, and I am just making sure that I'm not taking care of a bunch of, house activities. I'm going to kind of put that to the side for the moment, and I'm going to just rest up, sort of rebuild my energy. It's been needed for a while, and if I'm going to move in this new direction, consider it sort of the pit stop before your great success. So then what you're going to do is a combination of what's going on in the Fool card and then what's going on over here as we discussed. The Fool card is somebody who is very relaxed and happy and doesn't think too far in the future. When they see a new opportunity present itself, they take it always. So every time you see an opportunity to help someone in a teachable kind of way, take it. No matter what, even if you don't know what you're doing, just try it out. And they see these opportunities as fun. They're not stressful. If you feel that stress, pop up in you, you take a deep breath and be like, I'm going on a new adventure. I'm trying something new. And try to see how you can make it fun and joyous without thinking and planning too far ahead of being like, okay, now I'm looking for the next task. And if I do 10 tasks, I will then be able to level up by this time. Don't be in that mindset. The Fool card is also somebody who does set an intention when it comes to where they want to go. So after you take your break, be very clear to the universe and yourself, this is sort of where I would like to be, both what I would actually like to be doing, as well as you can set that intention. Do you want this activity to involve more money in general? Does this more money involve a position as being a boss? Does it involve more, we'll just describe it as our other examples, like a higher up freelance type of situation? Is it like that? But you want to be very clear that that's where you're headed towards. And then the Fool card doesn't need proof that it's going to happen. They believe it's going to happen, and because they do, they in turn make it happen. But it only happens because they've set that intention and just believe yep, even though I'm not being shown the proof yet, I know that I will get there and it is happening. And so this sort of levels you up. Sometimes it is simply just a slight attitude change. I talked about this before. If you've seen my video, you can check it up. I already put it up about this in detail before. Often when it comes to manifesting, it's not that you need to continue to do the same activity over and over and over again. You're not believing enough, anything like that. That's just honestly never true. Sometimes it depends on you needing a different perspective or manifestation technique, depending on whatever you're going through, your perspective on the world, because it's not that your perspective on the world or your attitude is wrong. We just need something to kind of match it, so to speak. So this sort of easygoing attitude with clear intention, but also taking advantage of these activities head on, being proactive, but also seeing them as a fun adventure, seems to be clearing the path up for you very fast, which is beautiful. And then during this time period, you're going to really do whatever you can to sort of avoid and get out of this sort of chaos. And every time you feel that this chaos is calling your name more so, remember the chaos is referring to constantly having to deal with other people's issues and problems and whatever. Every time you feel like that's popping up, go out of your way to more choose and seek the teachable moments, as we talked about. And this is you taking on this role before it's been given to you. So a good example, again, is so let's say you're the barista. You would want to go out of your way to ask to put away inventory needs more. Or, as you pull away and you do inventory and you don't have to do cash register or be caught up in the, fast breakfast rush or whatever like that, you would see that, from afar, I see someone could maybe be working at the espresso machine a little more efficiently. And you maybe go over there and restore some of their cups, and you start to talk to them and say, hey, I see you're really struggling. Is there some way, is there some way I can get these orders out or faster to them, or whatever that may be? So anyways, whatever that may be, I'm trying to give some sort of an example here. You just start to insert yourself in this kind of role. I do want to be clear though, and the last thing I'll say, especially with the Chariot over here, is you do want to do whatever you can to make this as secretive as possible. You don't want to appear as a know-it-all or tell people information they already know. You're trying to kind of sneakily be like, oh yeah, I'm your friend, I'm helping you, but you're essentially putting yourself in a role where you're helping them in that kind of way. Because if they start to see that you're taking on the position and they misunderstand it, they could start to see you as someone who's kind of annoying and think, oh, just like sometimes people jump to conclusions due to their own personal issues. Oh, do they think they're better than me? And obviously this is not the case at all. This is just a more comfortable position for you. So you do want to do this in sort of a sneaky way by not just straight up being like, oh, can I help you? And then rush off and seem like you know what you're doing, you know everything. You're just going to want to come in as a friend, say, hey, are you okay? Pop in real smooth and sort of subconsciously get into everyone's brain. Yes, this is a better place for me to be. Don't we all want that? See how I can help you more efficiently? It makes your life easier. So I'm excited for you. It's going to be much more relaxing and you're going to have a lot more freedom. So remember, rest, intention. We talked about how you do this, and start acting teachable in that kind of way. Anyways, if you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2, let's find out how can you quickly level up in your current career by looking at the cards. We have the Devil card upright. 10 of Swords in reverse, that is always a good sign. Page of Cups in reverse. Ace of Swords in reverse. And the Justice card upright. Okay, give me a moment to look at this. Oh. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is interesting. There is we're going to get into specifics you can work on and things you can do in order to quickly level up, as in there are things that you can do proactively to make it happen. However, one of the biggest things that is working out in a chain of events, both as a blockage, but it's a blockage that is also simultaneously a stepping stone to leveling up and moving up in your current career, is somebody in your way trying to, you could say, self-sabotage you a little bit. It doesn't feel like personal, but it is. I'm not trying to be vague. We'll get into specific. Let's just get started so we can kind of put that out there, essentially. So make sure you listen the whole way through so we can go over everything that needs to be laid out. So first, with the Devil card, you have somebody higher up than you. I'm being told it is, in most cases, a just straight up boss. This would be like a manager. Could it be like a smaller, okay, yeah, it can be like a smaller manager, kind of like how some people have shift managers. It can be that too, but it is someone higher up than you. And they are trying to put you in a position where they make you take the brunt of their own problems. I don't mean emotionally, I mean like they mess up at work and they want you to kind of take the blame for it. They are trying to entice you to do all their work and also take and deal with the repercussions for the mistakes they're making. I am being told the mistakes they're making are a combination of their lack of intelligence in decision making mixed with laziness. They just kind of couldn't be bothered to make the better choice. So they want to kind of use you as sort of a scapegoat. They will disguise this by kind of trying to be your buddy. I'm being told that it will feel, and I'm being shown that it will feel very fake, and you will be like, okay, why are they being weird? Why are they being so focused on me? And the first thing I can see over here in the Page of Cups is that this is sort of like a false sort of opportunity they will present you. They'll be like, oh, if you do this for me, you can make an extra, chunk of money. And obviously after watching this reading, you'll think, oh, that's my opportunity to make more money. Do not take it. It is a trick and a trap. And I'm being shown, let me ask, will they even get it? No, they will not. You will not even get the reward they are trying to promise you with. So in addition to not getting, like, let's say they say to you, hey, you can earn another, anywhere from $100 to $500 if you do this extra thing for me. And then you're like, wait a minute, like, you're telling me I don't even get that money and I have to deal with the repercussions of someone else's actions? No, thank you. I am being shown over here in the Ten of Swords. It's pretty bad, whatever you would have to deal with. It would be something you would really regret not having foreseen and avoided, essentially. It's a big deal. Could they get fired if they deal with this? In some cases, I'm being told you could even be fired dealing with this other person's actions. Now, have no fear. We're going to push through this, and you're going to realize it's weirdly a blessing in disguise. I'm also here and happy to say that the Ten of Swords in reverse is a confirmation that you will successfully see this and avoid it. I love this card because this card implies that you successfully dodged something that was going to be very terrible, and now you don't have to deal with that anymore, which is great. So over here is where we can get into specifics even more about what you proactively can do to level up in your career and how you can proactively deal with all of this stuff. So in the Ace of Swords in reverse, we want to more focus on the imagery. See the cute little bat and how the bat is in reverse and sort of waking up? When the bat is hanging upside down as they normally do, they would be asleep. Their eyes would be closed. And when it's upside up, you know what I'm saying? They are waking up for the evening. They are ready to be active and use their ability to see in the dark. This is the main thing my spirit guides are pointing out, is this ability to see in the dark. And the dark is the sort of camouflage, and this, they want you to be in the dark, so to speak, and not be aware of what's really going on, that there possibly could be other opportunities and other things that you could do, and they want you to be distracted, that they are sort of the beacon in the dark of being like, I know it seems like there's nothing out there, but I have an opportunity for you. I'm your friend, and because it's the only opportunity, you should totally take it. I'm thinking of you. When that is, they're not thinking of you in the way you would like. And so this is you not only being able to see through that I keep calling it camouflage, and we'll just say see through the darkness and see their true intentions and actions and being able to dodge it, but it's about also showing to others, and we will get to that in one moment, that you are somebody who is quite innovative with how you get things done. You look out for what else can get accomplished at my current career, whatever that may be. I always use as a metaphor the barista career. Could straws be refilled? But you could be in an office job and be like, is there some way that the I don't know, I don't want to say the supply closet, maybe you refill some supplies you see when they're out in the copying machine or something in between your own memos and tasks. People are going to take note, and we will get into that in a moment, but the point is you are dodging this and realizing there are more opportunities to show other people your worth and abilities. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be only reserved to smaller tasks I refer to. If you see that somebody needs help and you want to stay a little after to help them accomplish whatever their own task is, or you want to show others that you are capable of teaching others and you're not afraid to share your knowledge, because in your you're showing everyone else that if the whole career, everyone does well, the whole company does well. And honestly, as much as we all have our own personal goals to be that number one person, the main higher ups that put you in the better positions that you want to be, that's all they care about, is the company doing well as a whole. So if they see that you're a part of that concept, they're going to want to give you the better opportunity to do that more, so to speak. So you're able to see through what they're doing and their true intentions and dodge it, and you're also simultaneously filling up your any sort of available time. Honestly, this would be a time to work a little harder, stay a little longer, show up a little earlier, and see what else can be done at this time period. But taking on this extra sort of responsibility and helping the whatever company it is you work for as a whole, this is going to get noticed. And now we can get into specifics over here. So in the Justice card, think of this jack-o'-lantern man. Normally very cute, but we can agree that he looks a little creepy right here. Think of this as also the Devil card as your boss. And over here, we can see you symbolized as maybe the cat, so to speak. And then over here, the owl is somebody else. It appears there is somebody higher up than them that has been noticing their actions, their laziness, their poor decision making, and they're starting to realize that not only are they've been kind of waiting for them to change. Has their boss been warned? I'm just being told in some cases yes, in some cases no. But anyways, this position, your boss thinks that they're sort of hiding this, that they have all this power and no one's noticed what they've been doing, but somebody has been. And as they've been watching this, they are going to start to notice that they are presenting you with this opportunity. I am being told right now by my spirit guides that this person, this boss, the first boss, not the boss above them, the initial boss will continuously try to make it seem like this is the opportunity, lots of guilt tripping, are you sure you don't want it? And you're just going to keep saying, no, thank you, no, I'm good. And these other people are going to notice what they're doing, notice not only are they guilty of these other things I described, but that they're even trying to pass on that by passing it on to someone else, that is not an action they really want or type of person they want in their company, but also by saying, oh, so you acknowledge that your actions should have consequences and you don't even want to take the brunt of it and learn. Basically, it's kind of like you have no honor and you're more self-aware than you're letting on, and we see that. And they will essentially, will they get the full-on boot? Yes, they will be gone. It seems there is a possibility that you might even be taking on their position, or at least a level up position after this person is out of the picture nonetheless, wherever you may be placed. Do they have to take the other boss's position? No, they're actually, in many cases, you're being offered a position actually higher up than this boss. It wouldn't be a boss of a boss of other people. It's like a whole different section of the company because they see your value in a different way. And because this is gone, this person's gone, they see all the hard work you've been doing, as we talked about in the Ace of Swords. But the main thing is that you're the person that helps out in every which way. You are helping the company as a whole, no matter how that might get done. So essentially, you will dodge a pretty serious thing that you should be aware of, that really dodge it. It will have big consequences you don't want to deal with. You will be able to see it, no problem. You'll be able to avoid it. Keep avoiding it. You understand where you're going to be needed. This will be observed. This is kind of a blessing in disguise, because this is basically putting themselves in a position to basically be seen for the person they are, which will then get them the boot, get you the attention you deserve, and get you placed in a better position mad quick. So we love that. This will take a little bit. It will take just a few weeks, not too long, but I'm very excited for you to be done with all this drama. Anyways, if you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you next one. And let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's find out how can you quickly level up at your current job by looking at the cards. We have 5 of Cups upright, the Death card upright, Queen of Wands upright, the Chariot upright, and the Knight of Pentacles upright. Oh, look at his little face. Okay, give me a moment to look. Is this a boss? Okay. Let me just pull one more card to ask. Okay. All right. I'm just getting all the information. Okay, thank you for your patience on that. Okay, so this is really interesting. There is somebody popping up, and there is a bit of a fear factor thing going on here, because this is not someone you necessarily want to experience. But by sort of dodging, we'll just say their frustration and anger, we'll put it simplistically as that, it creates and puts you in a position to see the opportunity that you should take hold of. But we're going to get into some more specifics. So this is a sort of beautiful blessing in disguise going on here. Okay, so over here in the Queen of Wands is, I am being told it is not a boss, but it feels almost like they have a lot of power. Like they, you know, those some people that they go up to you and they tell you what to do, and suddenly you're doing it and you're like, why am I listening to this person? They just have that intensity behind them that it suddenly strikes fear in your heart, and for whatever reason you just kind of do whatever they say. Now they're going through something in their life personally, whatever that may be. They seem like they're overall a pretty angry person, but they're going through something in their life and they're looking for somebody to take it out on. And so you really want to do whatever you can to dodge this. This can be shown here in the Death card upright. See how she's blowing out the candle? She's making it, she's making sure that she is not seen and hidden, one in the crowd, not becomes the primary focus for this person. You're going to do this however you can. Maybe every time they walk in a room, you suddenly have to go to the bathroom. When they speak, no matter what, just keep your mouth shut, get out of there. You are not giving them more power by not saying anything or not standing up to them. You're just preventing any sort of attention going your way. You don't really want this. It will be a distraction, but there's a beauty in this. They're meant to be kind of this unstoppable force, because it will force you to be like, I don't want to get involved with this, I want to hide away. By the way, with the Chariot card popping up, I am being shown that you will successfully hide away from them. And over here too, they will not be seen. You will not be seen by them, essentially. But with the Chariot card over here and the Five of Cups, I am having it confirmed that what happens is they're coming into your life to force you to pop away, go in another room, be waiting in areas maybe you wouldn't normally, and while you're waiting there, you essentially start to see things that other people don't necessarily want, that are opportunities you should take advantage of. Essentially, especially over here in the Five of Cups upright, see how there's a bunch of empty cups here? Nobody wants the empty cups. Everybody wants the two full cups over here. But here's the thing. Here you are reaching up and grabbing it. Because if nobody else wants it, you would essentially have four cups with the potential of being filled with all of this water. So therefore, in the end, it would be an opportunity people wouldn't anticipate would be very profitable. I'll give you an example. Back in the day, I used to deliver sushi. And while that might seem like an odd job and maybe no different than another sort of delivery type position, at the time I made more money than my peers who were waitering, and their job was a lot more intense and stressful and overwhelming, and I pretty much got to listen to podcasts the whole time and make very good money in a short amount of time. In fact, actually, I highly recommend, if you are younger or struggling right now, delivering sushi specifically is like one of, I mean, I've had other friends go out and seek these positions. For whatever reason, it's like an underground market where you make a lot of money. I highly recommend it. So anyways, going on, when you are dodging and hiding from them, this will present itself in any way. You could maybe see a flyer. Maybe you see there is some stuff that needs to get done that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't hide in that storage closet, so to speak, or whatever. Keep your eyes out in between all the waiting and dodging. You will see it. It will be something where your brain will click and think about it, because it's kind of similar to that vibe where I always just say that when you see a painting, you really should stare at it for longer than just a quick minute. In fact, it can take up to 20 minutes before you start to see the deeper message that was incorporated in the piece of artwork. With this, it's like you're sitting there, you're waiting, you have nothing else to do. Try not to be on your phone. Look around, stare at everything until suddenly it hits you in the face that you're like, oh, this is what I can be taking advantage of. And then you will then present this opportunity to someone else, like a boss or something, and be like, hey, I see that nobody wants to do this. Can I do this? And essentially this will move you from your current responsibilities and position, not only out of this drama going on, this angry little force going on over here, but more importantly, it will move you to a position that people aren't aware of is better paying than people were giving it the chance for. What you, like we talked about before with that metaphor, people aren't aware that's where the real money is, essentially, which is beautiful. That also gets confirmed over here in the Chariot course. I am being told you are going to be protected by the universe. You will go out of your way to actively dodge this person, but if you feel like you have any close encounters or you're worried it's right around the corner, just understand that the universe does not have the intention of you getting taken by this person. You are meant to just be, you know, I don't want to say scared, but you feel motivated to avoid them enough that it leads you in the direction you need to go, essentially. I am also being told with the Chariot card, you do want to try to not engage in the frustrations everybody has about this other person over here. You want to just be like, yeah, that's rough, and then just don't add anything to it, because you essentially don't want to create not only that negative energy around you, but you don't want to, this is the type of person where when you talk about them, they show up. It's like a magical type of thing. And you don't want to essentially put a, sign on your back like, hey, come talk to me, especially when you're putting in so much effort to avoid them in order to find these other opportunities. And then over here in the Nine of Pentacles, I am being shown, first of all, my spirit guides say that it will bear many fruit, which I love that they said that, and that not only will you make a lot more money in this other situation within your current career, but it's going to be pretty easy going. It's going to be a lot less work. You can take your time. There's not going to be any sort of time restraints or pressure. It's not about being lazy. It's just not the same as putting away boxes and kind of relaxing, putting stuff away is a way different vibe than somebody who's mad dashing at lunch hour at cash register. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're talking in a bigger department if you have a different sort of career and, whether that be an office job or whatever that may be. But the point is that it's just going to be much more easygoing. So if you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4, let's find out how you can quickly level up at your current career by looking at the cards. We've got Ace of Swords in reverse, Queen of Swords upright, Six of Swords in reverse, Two of Cups in reverse, and King of Cups in reverse. Interesting. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's not a sorry because of anything, any bad news. I can actually say a lot of positive stuff, but I can see you've been going through it. Okay, I know exactly what to say. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so first off, in the Six of Swords in reverse, this is our first indicator that you've been kind of going through it recently, especially with your job. Over here in the Two of Cups in reverse, I can see that this is just not the current career for you. It's a lack of compatibility. So if you've been feeling like somehow you're not good enough, which is never true, by the way, it doesn't matter what position you're in or what you've accomplished, you're always good enough. But if you just like something's not working out, you're not quite sure why something's off, it's because you were not meant to be at this current place. But this is what you're dealing with right now, and we're going to make it better for you. And at the minimum, let's make it more comfortable. And then from there, you can make a decision of, what you want to do essentially. But it's understandable is what I'm saying of why you feel off. And then over here, when it talks about it not feeling good, it specifically has an interesting combination of things being off due to your mindset affecting your perspective on your emotions. So yes, you have been feeling emotional and things have been feeling off. However, notice, let me just turn this upright so it can make a little more sense. So if you notice over here, they're in a boat, and the swords represent a mindset. This would be something you constantly repeat to yourself. This is your perspective on the matter. Well, this is putting holes in your boat, your support. And if the water is your emotions, you would start to see it as sort of the enemy or be afraid of all of these emotions if the water starts coming into your boat and you're going to be consumed by it. It's pretty overwhelming. And that is not a fun thing to go through, and I'm so sorry that is the case. Now, we can get into some more specifics, but it is, with it being in reverse, this is the positive omen and confirmation that you will be overcoming this and overcoming it soon, which I love. But we can actually get into specifics as to how to overcome this. But all of this going on over here is essentially being seen by someone else in the King of Cups in reverse. It seems like they are the person that would be in charge of giving you this better position or situation going on, essentially. And they've noticed that you've been off, and honestly, they've felt for you. This is nothing where they have viewed you negatively or seen you as a pain. Nothing in the least. They actually have quite a lot of empathy for whatever you're going through. However, because they're like, oh wow, they're really struggling, they only see you as someone that's really struggling, not somebody who can step up to the plate and take on more responsibility, more intensity right now in their life. Now, keep in mind, I just want to clarify this again, they don't think, okay, let's say we need someone new for a position. They're not thinking in their head, oh, not them, they're so sad. They just look at you privately and they think, oh, I'm so sorry they're going through a tough time. I don't know if I should approach them, if I would be breaching their sort of privacy, and I don't want to make them uncomfortable. And then when the position comes for a job, they just don't think of you in that type of position because they're being consumed by other thoughts of you that we just expressed. So we want to change that. We don't want them to only see you as someone. We want to show them that you're healing and that you're actually quite a formidable person and someone they should consider for the position. You know what I mean? So keep in mind, it is coming from a loving place, but all of this is sort of distracting them from realizing your worth and capability, essentially. So one of the ways we can overcome this, I am also being told, does it have anything to do with health? No, never mind. Usually this card talks about overcoming health issues. So don't worry about that. Apologies about that. So anyways, going forward with this, one of the main things you're going to be aware of is that your mindset has been the main cause of affecting your emotional reaction. And you need to sort of get a hold of that. This is a sort of I like to refer to this as a time period in your life where you want to do the opposite of whatever you do. So in a moment, you want to be very self-aware and think to yourself, hey, when I start a new activity, do I already beat myself up and think that is it incapable or incapable? I cannot remember. Incapable of doing this, and you're already being self-defeatist. This would be a time to go, you know what? Whether I believe it or not now, I'm going to say the opposite. We don't know until I do it. Potentially, I could rise to the occasion, or at least get closer in becoming educated enough to rise to the occasion next time. Or in the future, you think to yourself, how can I, if I'm always repeating the same thought over and over and over and over in my head, I might as well change that thought and change it to a better repetitive phrasing. So maybe instead of beating yourself up and thinking you don't have enough time and repeating it over and over again, or saying in your head, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad, that idea, you could change the thought to anything. It could just be like, oh, I'm going to go watch this tonight. I'm going to go watch this tonight. I'm going to go watch this tonight. It doesn't even have to be a positive affirmation. It can be like, I've always been good enough. I've always been good enough. But it can be something neutral. And sometimes when we're overcoming something emotionally, neutral is kind of the way to go. So start to practice always doing the opposite from what you would normally respond to, the way you would approach things, your mindset in general towards yourself and your emotional state right now, as a way of getting out of this, essentially. Because right now you sort of need what you don't have. So you have to start providing what you don't have to get what you need. Does that make sense? Now, this is where you're heading towards, and this is where the proactiveness comes into place. And I do want to clarify, by the way, you do not have to be perfectly happy to receive this position and be seen differently. It's just about sort of getting a better handle on it in order for your talents to more shine rather than whatever you're currently going through. So do not be confused and think you have to be a perfectly happy person or somehow your sadness is a burden to others. It's not at all. They feel for you, but we want to sort of, pull it back so this gains more attention, essentially. Pull it back in public, at least. If you want to go home and cry your eyes out, go for it. Nothing's wrong with that. Your emotions are always valid. And I'm so sorry that you've been going through a tough time. It is due to the lack of compatibility to your job, so it's understandable. But let's make it a little more comfortable. So we got Queen of Swords. This is going to be the energy that you will be stepping into and you're going to be acting on when the opportunities present themselves. This is a sort of like, don't even mess with me attitude. Not in confrontation and aggression. It's more just like, if somebody thinks that you can't do something, you step up to the plate and go, who said I can't? If someone were to try to bully you or make you feel down about yourself due to your emotional status, this would be saying in a very calm manner, nothing to create intensity or drama in the workplace because that is never well received, but more saying, hey, it's fine that I'm going through a hard time, but it's none of your business, and I think you need to, back off. Or you could just be like, how is this any of your business? And then you just go and talk to someone and say, I will not be spoken to this way. I'm living my best life. And not, I'm living my best life, and you cry and go, it's been so hard. This is something you more, in this particular case, by the way, I'm all about sharing your feelings and stuff like this, but this would be the case when you want to go talk to a loved one or friends. This is not the current situation that you would feel most comfortable even expressing yourself, to be honest. And you're just basically going to have that energy of like, I'm capable, I can step up to the plate. If you try to mess with me, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to strive for the best position. I'm going to be treated with respect. But all of this is done with a combination of sort of intensity, as in like you're not going to stop, but it doesn't mean aggression and people find annoying or overwhelming to be around. It's just kind of like a respect thing of like, oh, I didn't know they had it in them. You know what I mean? In addition to that, you're going to become what I would like to call a master copier. This means, this can be a very wide range of ideas, because in some people's jobs, that is literally their job, to copy like a concept and repeat it over and over again. But in other positions, it's about being aware of being like, okay, this is my job. How does it ideally want to look like it's being done? Maybe you learn this from somebody else, you look in a book, you figure it out, whatever that may be, and you want to figure out how to replicate that technique or idea perfectly. Because people then, not only can they then see how strong you are and they know you've got everything, they're like, okay, they're doing better, good for them, and they can start to see your strength, but they can be like, wow, if I need anything to get done, I trust that they're going to replicate it perfectly. Whether this be the idea, I mean, this could be anything, keep in mind, I'm keeping this pretty broad. It can be like more of a craftsmanship, kind of like in graphic design, or it could be anything from like, okay, I need them to write up these memos, and you know how to write up a memo perfectly and copy how it's been done before. So definitely get familiar with like whenever you're accomplishing a task, look back, is there anybody's previous work or some sort of an example you can find either at your current job workplace, or maybe you can look in a book and figure it out, and figure out how can you just, all you need to do is not figure out how to put your own spin to it, but just replicate it. Learn to become a master copier, because it's going to be, this is the skill this other person really needs right now. They need to know that you will be they need someone, they have ideas and they need to know that they will be executed. It's not important right now to be the one that shines and's got all this creativity. They just need certain tasks done, and they know because you will meet whatever they have basically given to you, and they're going to be pretty upfront about whatever they give to you. It will be very easy. They'll basically be like, wow, this is exactly what I need right now. And they can basically depend on you for a variety of reasons for that way. So we love that. Again, it is okay you're feeling about this. This isn't about hiding away your emotions. It's maybe just getting a hold of them for your own happiness and kind of more expressing them in a more comfortable position for you. You're not a burden on anyone. I just want to keep putting that out there. It's just more comfortable for you. And then showing, and by the way, understandable, we talked about that. And then showing this other person, look what I've got. And them going, ooh, you know what? Let's consider for them for the position. They will even admire you more for where you've come from and where you are going. So we love that. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.